Hello beer tubers and welcome to another beer review with me, Peter, the master of hoppets. Today, cracking some classic English beer. I've been talking about in a couple of videos, and I did a couple of videos already, of some classic old school English beer because I started to see some in local supermarkets and I was wanting to throw back with some because I've been going through a period where I've really been trying to revisit another classic beer as well and drink some classic styles. We're even going to take a stroll down memory lane at some point soon and try some Belgian classic stuff as well. So I think it's fun to try some of these really classic beers that also hold up most of the time. Sometimes some of the breweries have been bought up by other breweries and whatnot, and it's not exactly the same. That's always how it goes. But I've been talking a lot about wanting to go back to the English beers. English beer is what got me into beer. And I was such a massive fan of ESB back in the day. That was my favorite style. So I've really been wanting to go back to English classics. And I already did a couple. I did like Fuller's Honeydew, Fuller's London Pride, and whatnot. Was there a couple others? Shepherd Neame. And then I recently discovered Witchwood Hobgoblin, King Goblin, and Witchwood IPA. Goblin IPA, was that the name? And the last time I had the Witchwood beers, I was quite disappointed. A few years ago, I did a side-by-side of a canned version of Hobgoblin and Hobgoblin Gold, and I was like, what is this? This is like drinking macro beer. And some people in the comments were like, you just need to drink the bottled version. Now, a few years later, we get to do it because Witchwood is back. I think it's always been around a little bit. I think we've been able to get the Hobgoblin once in a while. But I was at the Danish-German border and they had like a whole series of Goblin beers. I was like, let's try them. But we're trying some Greene King beer today. We're trying a variant of a Greene King beer. Technically it's a Morland's beer, but Morland's is part of the Greene King portfolio. It's one of the biggest breweries of like classic English beer in the UK. I remember trying, I've reviewed Old Speckled Hen with Simon from Real Craft Beer over Skype way back. You can go check out if you want. I can put that in the end of the video. Otherwise, I also really love their strong Suffolk Ale, which was English strong ale in oak barrels or something like that. But this one will be fun to try. I never tried this variety of Old Speckled Hen. I think I tried Old Speckled Hen again a few years back and I wasn't too excited about it. But let's see about this one. So this is Old Crafty Hen, which is an English strong ale on 6.5%. But Old Crafty Hen is 6.5%. It's oak aged and it's a spin on Old Speckled Hen. And it says that it is their legendary 5 times strong ale, which is a very strong ale that they brew. I think it's around 12% or something like that. We can also quickly find out that. But they brew that, and that's the beer they use for making strong Suffolk ale, and they blend something else in to, dilute it. X5. Can you actually get that? 5X. It's an old stock, 12% stock ale. So very strong. Not a lot of people. It's fun to see. There's only 200 check-ins of that beer, so I'm guessing it's something they don't really let people try that often. But that's like the base. And to that, they then blend, and they take that, then that's aged, or either they take that beer or it's aged in oak already. I'm not sure. But it's aged in oak vats for many months. And then they take this 5 times strong ale, old ale / stock ale, and blend in Old Speckled Hen to create this English strong ale, a premium ale that they call a masterpiece that's bursting with malt, toffee, and dried fruit notes. 6.5%. It's the color as you see in the bottle. It's this chestnutty brown. It looks pretty damn gorgeous in the glass. It's crystal clear, and it's got a slight beige head to it. Let's check out the aroma. Okay, rather mild. Very much a chewy malt character to it. Maybe I'm using the wrong glass for this. And I think this is made for the autumn as well. It's not a year-round beer. I'm getting like a little bit of marmalade. I'm getting a little bit of toffee, but this kind of screams a little bit the same experience as I had with, what was called? Bishop's Finger. Slightly more industrial smelling, a little bit sweet. Not a lot going on. There is some stewed fruitiness and stuff like that underneath. Very subtle smelling. Yeah, I don't know. That's why I need to drink some of the legendary English beers instead of like the big mass produced stuff. Like Fuller's London Pride was still good. I mean, it doesn't smell like a bad beer. There's a little bit of a buttery tone. Let's try it. Cheers. Okay, totally different story on the palate there. I think it might be the choice of glass, so it's hard to smell. Very rich, very malty. It really reminds me of like blending in like a bitter or an English pale ale into something that's really strong. You can sense that there's part of this beer that's a strong beer a little bit because it has like a rich, drying, oaky finish, a touch of warming alcohol as well, actually, because it's not super sweet. It's quite a dry beer, but lots of toffee and lots of dried, like dark fruitiness. Also, like a little bit of an apricot jam. So this has some very nice flavor. There's definitely a lot of yeast character to this as well. Like very nice classic English yeast. Like there's this marmalade-y, jammy fruitiness. But that's about it. Maybe there was a little bit of diacetyl, but it might just be malt sweetness. I don't think it's a lot. Yeah, what does it remind me of? Does it remind me a little bit? It's not as intense as like a Fuller's Golden Pride or 1845, for example. Those are a bit more rich and decadent. You can definitely feel that this has got a component in it that's a lighter beer, making it maybe a bit more drinkable than those. Those are much richer beers, as far as I remember. I did some revisiting to those a few years back. But it's pretty good. It's definitely better than Bishop's Finger. Definitely. That was such a disappointment. That was just like such a watered down experience. But it's also not like the best of the best classic British beer I've had. It's nettly, it's marmalade-y as well. There's definitely a good amount of hop character. There's that drying oaky finish. Toffee as well, caramel, butterscotch a little bit. It's actually quite nice. There's some spiciness, almost like rye or something like that. Spicy breadiness to it. I'm not sure if I'm going to break 90. It's like an 88 to a 90. It might even break 90 because it's actually a quite complex yet highly drinkable classic English beer. Like I still hold something like Fuller's Golden Pride or 1845 to a higher regard if we're talking these stronger English ales, but there's something really nice about the drinkability on this one, which I enjoy. So let's say around maybe in between and say 89 for Morland's. It's not an American brewery. Morland's Old Crafty Hen, aka Greene King, Old Crafty Hen. Pretty damn tasty, actually. So get some of this if you're in Denmark, because right now it's back. I don't know if it ever went away, but I haven't seen this in ages. Or Old Speckled Hen. So check them out if you guys can. And as always, remember to comment, subscribe, check out the Facebook fan page and Twitter and Instagram. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and ring the bell for future notifications about videos. And I want to say cheers and see you guys in another beer review. And stay tuned for the Hobgoblin beers soon. I don't know if I should do them together. Maybe just a Hobgoblin special. Let's see. Cheers.